This was awarded by Fragrantica as 2025's best men's fragrance. Myself, along with thousands of other people, do not disagree whatsoever with that judgment call. Though my relationship with Hugo Boss's Boss Bottled Absolu is a little bit rocky and confusing, I'm gonna go over all the details. The one issue, the one drawback, if I had to come up with something off the top of my head, would be price point. Yes, at around $160 retail for a 3.3 ounce, this is not cheap at all. See, but that's what really gets these clone houses excited in the fragrance world. An expensive scent that the mass public is already addicted to, that they must have. Something that smells like it's around that $160 mark, while usually maintaining a price point of sub 50 or 60 bucks. Well, the good news is they did that for Boss Bottled Absolu. Stick around in this episode, we're gonna talk about what the best clone on the market is and how you can get yours for sub 50 bucks. Let's talk about it right now. Welcome to another episode, people. My name is Keenan. Keenan Cologne is my YouTube channel. Please, for the love of God, do me a favor. If you're obsessed with fragrances like I am and my community is, we are rapidly growing, but we can't do it without your help. Please do me a favor, click that subscribe button if you want to be updated at least 2 times a week with the newest and the hottest fragrances on the market. Whether those fragrances are Middle Eastern dupes, Middle Eastern originals, designers, or niche, you name it, I love it all. My community loves it all. Please hit that subscribe button and stay up to date with the latest content of what's worth your time and money and what you should avoid. As previously discussed, the topic of today's video is Hugo Boss Bottled Absolu. As you guys already know, I keep it real over here and I'm honest with you guys. I have a very strange relationship with Boss Bottled Absolu. The first time I smelled this, I was like, ugh, why is it so thick? It smells like an old man. It's kind of dense, really abrasive. Like, when in the world would I ever wear this? But that was only on the scent strip. I did spray it on skin that exact same day when I was testing it out. And I gotta be honest, about 2 weeks went by and I was like, I gotta get my hands on this stuff. I need it, like, now. Boss Bottled Absolu is one of those fragrances that has a slow burn. When you first smell it, it's really in your face. It's really myrrhish. It's got a deep, resinous, incensey type of nature that inherently is not for everybody, but there's something smooth about it. There's something very addictive. And when I put my nose on this, especially when I smelled it wafting off my skin, I just needed to buy it. So I ended up doing what any and every respectable fragrance enthusiast does. Sampled it in the store, went on over to the online discounters to see what kind of price I can get on this, what kind of deals were out there on it. And lo and behold, nothing. This thing hovers around $150 to $160 regardless of where you buy it. So internally that told me 2 things. Number one, this thing has to be heat because they don't discount it anywhere. As you guys already know, fragrance houses will typically provide deep discounts on scents that a new version has rolled out or on the fragrances that don't typically sell that well. So when I saw that I couldn't get this thing discounted whatsoever anywhere, immediately my first thought was, wow, I'm gonna end up paying more than I want to, but also there's gotta be a lot of other folks that love this as well. But then with me being the dupe fragrance enthusiast that I am, I started immediately looking for Middle Eastern clones, Middle Eastern inspos of this scent, and that's when I found this right here. This is called Asad Elixir. It is Lattafa Asad's newest release, and in today's video we're going to be talking about how close does it get to the OG Boss Bottled Absolu, is it worth your time, is it worth your money, and most importantly, does it smell good? If you know me, you know how much I love Lattafa. That's a house that's honestly been changing the entire landscape of the fragrance industry. Not only are they budget friendly, I'm talking really, really affordable 9 times out of 10, but they offer originals as well as super high quality dupes of some of the scents that you either can't afford or don't want to invest the money in. And I'm no stranger to the Assad line, as you can see. These are my favorite 3 right here. This is the OG Assad, the first one that came out. This smells almost 1-to-1 to my nose with Dior Sauvage Elixir. This is Assad Bourbon, which was my absolute #1 favorite Lattafa Asad of all time. This is an inspired dupe of this here, Azzaro the Most Wanted Parfum. You're going to get that bourbon, vanilla, woodsy kind of vibe that you would get here, but way, way cheaper. So when I saw this, you already know your boy had high hopes. So let's do a side-by-side comparison to see what the main differences are between the OG Boss Bottled Absolu, which I absolutely love, and the brand new Lattafa Asad Elixir. In terms of atomizer, pretty standard atomizer on Boss Bottled Absolu. Gotta be honest, I'm not a huge stickler for that. I don't really care if it's pressurized or if it's a standard atomizer. My main concern is, does it spray evenly? Is there even clean distribution? So that way I'm not wetting myself up, or missing spots. When it comes to Lattafa's Asad Elixir, a little bit better atomizer, I gotta be honest, compared to Boss, which is expected when it comes to these Middle Eastern dupe houses. Typically their atomizers are top notch, the presentation is typically nicer, but usually the scent falls a little bit short of exactly what fragrance is duping, as can be expected when oftentimes these are about 25% the cost of what you would spend on a typical niche or designer fragrance. But enough about the atomizers and all the fluffy stuff. Let's get into what the actual scent differences are and what these two things smell like. Getting things kicked off with Boss Bottled Absolu from Hugo Boss. Gotta be honest, man, I'm not gonna pull no punches. I'm gonna get straight to the chase. This is a 10 out of 10 scent profile. I'm absolutely addicted to this. Some fragrances you wear and other fragrances wear you. This scent has such a raw masculine personality to it that it's almost like it's wearing you instead of you wearing it, in the best way possible. This thing is a mature, resinous, smoky, incensey, patchouli forward, kind of earthy, very deep, dark type of scent profile in all the best ways possible. On skin, this scent absolutely comes alive. As I mentioned earlier in this video, my first test was on a strip just like this. I was not a fan. When I sprayed it on my wrist, I kid you not, I ran out to that retailer as fast as I could to get my hands on this bottle because I just needed it. And this was a scent that I absolutely hated when I first smelled it. It's the first time I've ever come across that situation where I couldn't stand a fragrance initially and then fell absolutely head over heels in love with it after it set in and my brain had time to process what I had just smelled. Again, very ambery, slightly smoky, leathery incense vibe, hyper masculine scent profile that is guaranteed to get you attention in the cooler and the colder weather months. Now let's talk about Asad Elixir. Let's see if this thing stacks up. It's got huge shoes to fill. Let's see if it can do the job. Right off rip, you do smell a similarity in the DNA. This is for sure not a one of one. I'm going to tell you it's about 80, maybe 81 or 82% close to the original. And what Lattafa has done is actually very smart. See, the beauty of Boss Bottled Absolu is it is a designer, but it goes into that niche territory. What I mean by that is it's a little bit risky. It's a little bit ballsier than what you would typically get with a designer scent. It's not as smooth and fluffy around the edges. It's more hardcore, more love it or hate it. But seeing as though it did still win Men's Best Fragrance Award of 2025 through Fragrantica, more people love it than hate it. Asad Elixir, however, plays it safer. This smells more designer than that designer scent does. What I mean by that, if you were to take a straw, put it in the bottle of Boss Bottled Absolu and blow air into that straw. Just blow air into the fragrance. That's exactly what this smells like. It smells like a lighter, airier, fluffier, smoother, softer, slightly sweeter version of Boss Bottled Absolu. Not quite as dark, not quite as resinous, and it doesn't leave quite as much of a pronounced statement when you wear it. Love it or hate it, if you're trying to sell bottles, I gotta take my hat off to Lattafa. This is the way to do it. Sometimes playing it safer, even though you don't appeal as much to your target audience, will allow you to move more units inherently, as more people that smell this will be a fan. It's a safer, smoother, easier to wear scent than this dime piece fragrance right here. Now let's talk about performance and longevity. As expected, Boss Bottled Absolu, because this is darker, warmer, more resinous, and deeper, almost thicker in a way, you're going to get more performance out of this. I get about 2 hours more on skin than I do with this here. I get 9 hours of performance on the low end on skin, but you know me, I always play it safe and conservatively. Everyone's skin chemistry is different. It depends on how your body and how your skin breaks down a fragrance. On my skin, I personally get about 10 hours on skin, but the average person should get around 9 hours or so on skin with Boss Bottled Absolu. So as expected, Lattafa Asad, you're going to get less. I get right around that 7-hour mark from front to back. Really strong, really good projection for about 2.5 of those hours up front, but total lifespan of about 7 hours. Still respectable, and you got to keep in mind, this thing is under 50 bucks. The OG is hovering right around 160 bucks. Now let's talk about situations of wear. When would you wear these fragrances? What kind of settings, what kind of season? Off rip, as you can imagine, because this is lighter and airier, and it has almost like a Dior Sauvage style of likability and freshness, you can definitely wear Asad Elixir more frequently, more times of the year, to even more occasions. You can dress this up for special occasions, or you could dress it down for something like going to the office or going on a date. Whereas this masterpiece right here, though it is less versatile, it does a better job at that classy upscale vibe when you really want to show out for the evening. Both of these scents do lean toward cooler weather months, so think early spring, fall and winter. But like I said before, because Asad Elixir is lighter, airier, more of that forgiving designer type of vibe, if it's a hot day and the evening cools off, you could definitely pull this out once in a while in those temperatures as well. That being said, the verdict is in. Boss Bottled Absolu, the OG award winner, I'm definitely going to give this a 10 out of 10. Shout out to Fragrantica. They were absolutely correct, spot on with this. Not only the best fragrance of 2025, but I'd honestly say probably one of the most memorable, most important fragrances of the last 3 to 4 years. Though Boss Bottled Absolu has some huge shoes to fill, I gotta give props to Lattafa where it's due. This thing is absolutely outstanding. My personal rating I would give this is a 9 or a 9.1 out of 10. This thing does get very, very close to the OG, but because they decided to make it fresher and lighter, it loses some of that mystique and that je ne sais quoi that I got with the OG. Long story short, what should you do? This is not, and I repeat, not one of those situations where I'm going to say buy the dupe instead of the original. Absolutely 110%. If you've got the cash and it's not going to break the bank, do yourself a favor, get the 3.3 ounce big bottle of Boss Bottled Absolu. It is absolutely outstanding. But if you don't want to drop almost 200 bucks on a fragrance, I promise you, Asad Elixir is going to scratch 90% of that itch for you. It is absolutely perfect for what it is. People are going to compliment you, and it does get pretty close to the OG here. That being said, guys, if you love content like this, if you're obsessed with all things fragrances like we are over here, please do me a favor. I cannot grow this channel without your help. Please click that subscribe button. We're dropping bangers every week. I get a multitude of fragrances in every week that I buy with my own cash. I review them on here with you guys. I am not beholden to a company. I do not work for anyone in particular. So you're going to get the real from me. If a fragrance smells great, I'll tell you. If it's worth your time and your money, I'll tell you. And if it is trash, I will also be honest and transparent with you. When you guys go out and buy Hugo Boss Bottled Absolu and Lattafa's Asad Elixir, do me just this one favor, please. Thank me when it comes in. Peace, guys. I'll catch y'all on the next one.